Hello, my name is HQ of HQ Reacts. Welcome to my channel. Please do me a favor. Hit the like button, share the stream, and click the notification button for new content.
Hello, 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 hello. The world is being shown. It's only a matter of time before the truth reveals itself to many and all who want to see it. I was not really paying attention too much until the news. Till I woke up this morning and I said, really? Emails. No files yet, but emails, right? Emails that have revealed what people have been saying for months. Revealed all of the things that have been told to us that came true. But we believed it. We knew. We just needed the naysayers to get it. We have explained for months on end that most people who voted for that particular side of the aisle were voting for something they had no clue about. We said that. And we're gonna still have people who say, well, the alternative was better. No. Because the world, most of the world already knew. Rich people knew. Rich people had an idea that this is what was going on. We as Americans didn't know until we got into it. So, we're going to review this particular video. The name of the video. What is it called? Review. Wait a minute, hold on. I'm sorry. What is the name of the video? I do not have the name of my video that I'm about to review. Isn't that something? You know, I was just like flabbergasted today. I was flabbergasted. The video, Trump panics as secret Epstein emails prove he's guilty, by Secular Talk. This is Kyle Kulinski and his wife, Secular Talk. And they're going over the emails because they like to be thorough when things like this happen. Him and his wife sit down, Secular Talk, and they explain exactly what's in the emails. Not necessarily specifically what the wording, but they explain exactly what we're listening to. So, without further ado,
Crystal, we have a bit of an Epstein bombshell, or should I say 74 different Epstein bombshells
that have come out so far.
Yeah. Now, before I'm going to let you lay it all out in just a second, but before I get to that, it was interesting how we got all of these emails. So the Democrats, the House Oversight Democrats released, I believe it was 3 different emails, which they had highlighted as like, these are big and newsworthy. They're specifically about Trump. It shows how connected he was to Epstein. So they released those. And then my understanding is Republicans took a look at that and they were like, okay, well, we're sort of pushed into a corner here and Trump's pushed into a corner here. What do we do in response? And they decided, flood the zone, release everything we got. So instead of releasing 3 emails, it's like 20,000 that they ended up releasing. Thinking it would sort of like, you know, there'd be too much. It'd be system overload. People can't really like pick out the things that are vital, that are important. turns out that was wrong. People were able to pick up the thing. In fact, it became like from 3 bombshells, it was kicked up to like 20 different bombshell stories that came out as a direct result of it. They also wanted to push back against this notion that one of the victims, Virginia Jeffrey, that they say she didn't make any direct allegations against Trump, but she's the victim that's listed in one of the emails where Trump in 2011 was at Epstein's house with this victim for hours. And so, that's released. Everybody goes, holy shit, Trump is like caught on videotape because Epstein had his whole house bugged, right? But then the Republicans released more to show the unredacted emails to show no, because that was Virginia Jeffrey, and she never made any allegations against Trump, so it's not true.
She said that she never saw Trump do anything wrong. And so, yeah, but I mean, I appreciate that they released all of the emails because we've gotten so much more information. Yeah, release it all, go for it. And I think that they were hoping that because there are other, you got Larry Summers in here looking horrific. You got
New York Times reporter who was caught.
Oh my God, the New York Times reporter.
Larry Summers was the Fed who does the interest rates. He used to be the Federal Reserve chairman.
And that guy, this is interesting in and of itself. That guy had been fired from the Times for having an inappropriate relationship with Jeffrey Epstein. Right. And he's in these emails basically like tipping Epstein off to potential investigations coming for him from within the New York Times. And the other crazy thing about that is, some of these emails are directly about Trump between Epstein and this New York Times reporter. And it's like, okay, these were on New York Times. This was like his work email. These emails are on New York Times servers. How come this was never reported out previously?
Crazy.
I mean, it is crazy. So,
but one more thing before you go on the Virginia.
I'm sorry, let me correct that. He was U.S. Treasury Secretary. I'm sorry.
Virginia piece. I think it's kind of crazy the interpretation that the Republicans are taking with this, because when I heard that, I thought for sure Trump is on videotape. For sure he was doing dirty things at Epstein's house because that's the only thing people do at Epstein's house. So all that, I think, guaranteed. And I just think Virginia was afraid to level allegations against Trump because Trump has a history of making threats to people who speak out against him. We saw it with Stormy Daniels. We saw it with Karen McDougal. We saw it and those were the ones he just had an affair with. Never mind the ones that he was like purchasing sex from the billionaire pedophile pimp, right?
I mean, just look at how they're behaving, right? You've got total White House freak out. They took Lauren Boebert. So there were 4 Republicans who signed on to this discharge petition, which now has the requisite number of signatures now that Adelita Grijalva has been sworn in. Marjorie Taylor Greene, Thomas Massie, Lauren Boebert, and Nancy Mace. They knew they weren't going to be able to peel off Thomas Massie and Marjorie Taylor Greene. So went after Nancy Mace and Lauren Boebert. Mace apparently just didn't answer her phone. Boebert, they brought into the White House, into the Situation Room, to put the full court press on her to try to get her to pull her name off of this discharge petition. I mean, total freak out from the White House about this. Does that seem to you like someone who is just innocent here and, wrong place, wrong time and has absolutely nothing to hide? Not to mention, we know the extraordinary perks that they're giving Ghislaine Maxwell down at her Club Fed prison where she's got
Listen to this shit that they are giving to the convicted pedophile in prison. First of all, they let her go to a minimum sentence facility, a facility where somebody who has like a year or 2 less goes because they don't want to fuck up because they're going to get out. So they put them in a very short-term prison. She was in a maximum prison. Now she's in a minimum stay prison. Listen to the perks they have been giving Ghislaine Maxwell so she won't talk about what Trump did.
Freaking puppy to play with, is able to bring in outside.
She has a puppy to play with.
Visitors with computer electronic communications all the time, can go to the exercise area when, after hours when others aren't allowed to, is getting special meals and filling out her commutation application. What, you think he's doing that just like out of the goodness of his heart? He wants to make sure that Ghislaine Maxwell, the convicted sex trafficker, is not done wrong while she's in prison? No, he doesn't want her to speak because she knows things that he doesn't want out there. I mean,
and my thing is this: we have crickets. We have crickets from his friends, the Republican Party, MAGA. No. That ain't what we doing over here, no games. That ain't gonna fly. See, the problem is we've had a president who has gaslit us from the time that he hit the scene. From the time he has hit the scene, political scene, he has gaslit us. And he has a whole slew of goofy people who believe the gaslighting. This is the same thing we heard from Donald Trump. Don't come over here and try to gaslight me. There is no gossip. This is not a gossip channel. This is what everybody's saying. So maybe you need to go to a channel that might believe what you're spewing, but this is the truth that we're getting from most channels. That the president was in on it, knows about it, did it, knows it, the whole nine. That's what I'm saying. Please don't come over here and, what is it called? Cape for no PDF file. No PDF file. Don't come over here and cape for no PDF file.
And I really want people to sit with the fact, well, what are we talking about here? Job site is confirmed now without a doubt. Epstein was an Israeli intelligence asset. That's done. It's not speculative anymore. That's just proven fact at this point. So you have the president of the United States who believes that Epstein had whatever information he's terrified of coming out and has to assume that was shared with the Israelis, has to assume that. So we're talking about the president of the United States being directly compromised by this.
Right.
And it's very difficult to look at the totality of what has been revealed and their behavior and come to any other conclusion about what's going on here.
We can't come to any other conclusion. Donald Trump knew about Epstein's behavior and he participated in it. Don't try to dismiss it. No games. What you're trying to do is minimize that the president is a PDF file. That's what you're trying to do. Don't do that. Okay? Don't do that. We as a country need to face this reality. Specifically, MAGA people need to face this reality. We want to hit you over the head with it. This is the reality. Your president is a PDF file.
To be clear, what we're about to go through now are Epstein emails. This is not the same thing as the files.
Right.
The files are different. But this was still, there's a lot.
See, these are the emails. This is just correspondence that they have. They have videotapes. Epstein had every room in his house bugged so that he would be able to blackmail people. Listen to what I just said. Epstein had every room bugged. Listen to what I'm saying. They have Trump on tape. These are just the emails between people about Trump.
A lot of bombshells in this. So walk everybody through it. I know you got like 58 emails.
Yeah, so there's a lot here. All right, so put B2 up on the screen here. This was a fascinating one with regard to Prince Andrew. And there's another side note here. Epstein texting with Steve Bannon, Trump World Insider, one of Trump's closest advisors.
They were close. They were literally close. Yeah.
Yes, Trump and Epstein were close. You all know who Steve Bannon is, right? Y'all know who Steve Bannon is, right? Oh, shit. Y'all know who Steve Bannon is, right? Hold on. Y'all know exactly who that guy is, right? Oh, I'll get it back up. Listen. Yeah.
Lose the midterms and we lose 2028. Some in this room are going to prison, myself included.
That's Epstein's friend who's talking to Epstein about Donald Trump. This is why he's saying if Trump loses anything, he's going to prison. If they lose, all of them are going to prison. This is the guy right here. Listen.
We lose the midterms and we lose 2028. Some in this room are going to prison, myself included.
We understand.
They're not going to stop. They're getting more and more and more radical. And we have to counter that. And what do we have to counter it with? We have to counter it with more action.
It's too late. It's too late. We can see you all. We can see you.
This is in 2019, I believe, like a month before Epstein ends up dead in a prison cell. And here he is, friendly texting with Steve Bannon. Bannon is saying to him, you know,
the guy who just said we're going to go to prison is texting with Epstein.
So Epstein says Prince Andrew and Trump today, too funny, because Prince Andrew and Trump.
Why do you think Prince Andrew is getting stripped of his titles and all of his accolades over in England? Why do you think he's getting stripped? Y'all look that up. Y'all Google that. What's happening to Prince Andrew right now because of this? Google it.
Had some meeting that day. Bannon says, and then they say, recall Prince Andrew, accuser, came out of Mar-a-Lago, is what Epstein says. And then Bannon says, can't believe nobody is making you the connective tissue. You also have to assume with Bannon, the reason he's maintaining these friendly relations is to keep Epstein close, to make sure he doesn't spill the tea on Trump. Because reportedly, Bannon had said previously that he thought that Epstein was the only one who could take Trump down going into 2016. So that's the first one. Let's put the next one up on the screen. This is about this, this girlfriend that apparently Epstein and Trump shared. So Epstein says, my 20-year-old girlfriend in 93.
Look at the coping that we see in the freaking chat. Listen. Look at the coping that we see in the freaking chat. Stop the crap. Listen to the crap. Listen to the coping. I told you that some of y'all zombies. I told you.
That after 2 years, I gave to Donald. And this is an email with that Landon Thomas Jr. This is the New York Times reporter that he was emailing here with, who's kind of saying like, hey, you know, you got anything? Like, can't you put something out for the good of the nation to try to stop Trump? And then he floats that this is one of the things that he could put out. All right, let's put the next one here up on the screen. This one pertains to a lawsuit by Katie Johnson, who alleged that Trump,
13 years old,
that Trump and Epstein raped her when she was 13 years old. And Jeffrey Epstein's response to that is, well, I guess if there's anybody who can wave this away, it's Donald. Let me know if there's anything I can do.
Whoa. Whoa. See? Now we chasing that. Now we on that rabbit's ass, Jerome. We on that rabbit's ass. Can't deny it. But the maggots are going to try.
Next one. This is Epstein's opinion of Trump, and this was offered in 2018.
Of course it matters, Mitron. You're a zombie if you think this doesn't matter. You're a zombie if you think our president being a PDF file and being compromised doesn't matter. You're a zombie if you think it doesn't matter. Don't worry about Democrats. Don't worry about Democrats, Siamese twin. Don't worry about Democrats, Siamese goofy zombie. Don't worry about Democrats. Stay right here with this. Stay right here with this PDF file.
So again, this is from the New York Times reporter. He says, Trump is scaring the shit out of me now. He could well tank the global economy. Can Tom Barack, who was a close friend of Trump,
and a billionaire,
talk sense to him anymore? Maybe it's time for you to jump in now, given how he is throwing caution to win in such epic fashion. Why wouldn't he take your call? Give it a shot. And Jeffrey Epstein says, he feels alone and is nuts. I told everyone from day one, evil beyond belief. Mad, and most thought I was speaking metaphorically. It's obvious he could crack. Stormy Daniels, ? Lies after lies after lies.
So the pedophile billionaire who runs the human sex trafficking outlet is saying Trump is, quote, evil beyond belief. Just put that in perspective for everybody.
Yeah, that's right. That's
right.
When the billionaire pedophile sex trafficker believes you're the evil one. Like, yeah.
He's also said in the past, Trump is a man with no scruples. It's a direct quote. Trump is a man with no scruples.
Yeah.
From a pedophile, billionaire, human sex trafficker.
And there are a bunch of emails like this where, especially with this Landon Thomas Jr. New York Times reporter guy, where he's basically like, look, can't you, like, it's time to intervene here. Like, can't you put something out? And then Epstein will give him some little nugget or some little indication, or like this, where he talks about, how evil he thinks Trump is.
So
and there's a number of other emails too, where he talks about how evil he thinks Trump is.
So there's a drip of information from Jeffrey Epstein about Trump.
Mm-hmm.
And then Epstein winds up dead while Trump is president.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Those are the facts. I didn't even say anything extra. Those are the facts.
With his closest advisor, Steve Bannon, texting him apparently up till days before he's in prison.
And by the way, some of you might be thinking, well, that's what I always say this about Steve Bannon. I'm like, weird. He says these things that sound more economically populist, where he could criticize Trump and go directly at Trump. He never goes directly at Trump. He never calls out Trump directly. I wonder if that's because Steve Bannon knows what Trump is capable of, because he was friends with Jeffrey Epstein and texting with Jeffrey Epstein. And one day Jeffrey Epstein wound up dead after posting information that was made Trump look negative. I wonder if Sloppy Steve is scared. Right? These are serious questions now.
I mean, look at what's going on with Ghislaine. Like I was saying, like, we were getting the birthday book.
This is the guy they're talking about. Scared to confront Trump.
2028, some in this room are going to prison, myself included. They're not.
That's who they're talking about. They're talking about him. That guy right there. That guy
was leaked to the Wall Street Journal, probably from Ghislaine. She would be one of the people who would have access to it. She compiled it. And then once she gets her move to Club Fed, which sex criminals are not supposed to.
They did. What happened was the Democrats, the young lady, remember the young lady who got sworn in? What's her name? Gavaldi or something like that? She got sworn in to Congress yesterday. She said, I'm going to sign off on releasing the Epstein files. That's why Mike Johnson didn't want her sworn in, because nobody moved from the petition to release the files. Everybody was rock solid, including those 4 Republicans. All this past week, they have been pulling Boebert into the war room, into the White House, trying to convince her to take her name off the petition. She said, hell no, I'm not taking my name off the petition. 4 Republicans signed on to release the Epstein files. It was 217 that they had. The new lady who just signed in yesterday, who got sworn in yesterday, signed the petition yesterday. They released the files. Democrats released the emails. Everybody released the emails. Nobody has released the files, which have tape, which have audio, which have video, which have all the information that you need on it to believe the truth. They have just released only the emails back and forth between co-conspirator people, between Epstein and the dude I just showed you, the dude that just said we're all going to prison. Emails between a reporter who knew that Epstein worked as a Mossad, with the Mossad in Israel. All of this ties together. They're just interpreting the emails. The emails right now are being interpreted by these people right here.
Supposed to be.
Do you really want to waste 3 years chasing rabbits? I'm sorry, you MAGAs begged the president to release the Epstein files. Don't be mad. Don't be mad that they got released now. Don't be mad. Okay? If that man wants to, we just getting started with these files, y'all. These are the emails, y'all. The written word. These are the written word. They have videotape and they have audio of Trump and Epstein. They have video and audio. They have not released that. These are the files. These are the emails, y'all. Not the files, the emails.
In this type of
they had
prison
to waive
facility.
a rule to get her there, yeah.
Yeah, so she's not even supposed to be there. And then one of the prison guards said that her treatment is so over-the-top concierge special that he's, quote, tired of being her bitch. So they are, giving her this incredible special treatment, all because he is afraid of whatever she could say, like clearly. And you have to think that whatever it would be extraordinary, because this man has gotten away.
It's not a matter of wanting it to be true, Texas Granny. It is true. It's not a matter of wanting it to be true. It is true. Wow.
With so
You see the coping mechanism that we're dealing with here. Still deniability in the face of truth. This is wild.
so much that we know about him. I mean, and think of how he normally operates. Like most of the time, a lot of times he'll just admit he doesn't even he doesn't show any sort of shame or remorse. So you have to believe this is something so dire that he thinks it's like worse than him.
So what, Jerome? So what? I'm sorry. Jeff Henson, these are the emails. Didn't you hear me say emails? Did you hear me say files? I said emails, right?
Shooting someone on Fifth Avenue, because he famously said that wouldn't cause him to lose any support. For him to behave in this, I mean, he's just behaving in the most guilty manner you could possibly imagine.
Good. Let's go to the next one.
Next one, B6. This is them talking about how Trump walked into a glass door looking at young women. So he says, this is again, this Landon Thomas Jr. Now everyone coming to me thinking I have juicy info on you and Trump because of that famous quote where Trump said that Epstein likes girls on the younger side. And Epstein replies, read the Uz feed. I'm sure that's supposed to be BuzzFeed. Read my airplane logs and Hawaiian tropic contest. Have them ask my houseman about Donald almost walking through the door, leaving his nose print on the glass as young women were swimming in the pool. And he was so focused, he walked straight to the door. So that one, let's pull up this next one, which is notably from 2017. Okay, Trump supposedly cut off all contact with Jeffrey Epstein, and I believe it was 2003.
No, that's what he says.
Is what he claimed.
Right. That's nowhere near true.
And so now you have this 2017 email from one of the victims who says to Jeffrey Epstein, I'm at the door, but I will wait for my time. I don't want to come early to find Trump in your house. And then 2 smiley face emojis.
Now, I will say that could be a reference to a different Trump, like somebody else in the family.
Or it could be a joke.
Or it could be a joke because he was literally president at that time, right? Oh, wait. Yeah, he was president at that time.
2017, he was president.
So I read that, what the fuck is, what is this, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or is that could be a reference to like a joke, and the reference would be, remember when that used to happen? I came to your house early and Trump was there, and I don't want that to happen again. You know what I'm saying? It could be
like
a reference to something.
A callback that happened.
Yeah, remember when I came early and he did that shit to me? Like, remember? That's what it seems like to me.
Yeah. That does make sense. All right, let's put the next one up on the screen. So
see now, Jeff Henson, you're lying. Now you're lying. The House voted for the bill for the files to be released. It was defeated in the Senate by the Republicans in the Senate. Both houses had to agree. Both houses didn't agree. The House Republicans wanted the files to be released. It passed in the House. It didn't pass in the Senate. And the Republicans defeated that bill. Stop lying, Jeff Henson. The Senate Republicans are the ones protecting Trump. Stop it.
Here you have Michael Wolff saying, there's 2 separate ones here. We'll start with the
Democrats wanted the mandate to bill to be released. It was defeated in the House by 51 to 49. 51 to 49 to not release the files. That means 51 people voted not to release the files. No, I did look it up. That's what we found out. 51 to 49.
Top one, because these are different time periods. So in 2019, this is Jeffrey Epstein emailing Michael Wolff, and he says that this victim was at Mar-a-Lago, and Trump said he asked me to resign, never a member ever. Of course, he knew about the girls. Of course, Trump knew about the girls, he's saying, as he asked Ghislaine to stop. And then the one below that is from Michael Wolff, where they're strategizing about this. CNN was supposedly going to ask some Epstein question in the 2015 debates. They never did that, by the way. But in any case, Michael Wolff says to him as they're
See people, goofy people come in and start lying. Goofy people like Jeff Henson comes in and stop lying. I have the roll call for the vote. Jeff Henson. According to the available roll call records for the amendment in the United States Senate to require the release of the Jeffrey Epstein files, all Democrats who voted supported the amendment for the files to be released. The motion to table the amendment lost by 51 to 49. The opposition was composed of Republicans. No Democrat is identified as having voted against the amendment. Stop lying, Jeff Henson. All Democrats voted yes to put the amendment on the floor. The Republicans voted no for it not to go on the floor. Goofy.
they're trying to think about, like, well, what would be the ideal answer from Trump, which again indicates that they have some ability to communicate that to him. He says, I think you should let him hang himself. Interesting choice of words. If he says he hasn't been on the plane or to the House, that gives you a valuable PR and political currency. You can hang him in a way that potentially generates a positive benefit for you, or if it really looks like he could win, you could save him generating a debt. Of course, it is possible that when asked, he'll say Jeffrey's a great guy and has gotten a raw deal and is a victim of political correctness, which is to be outlawed in a Trump regime.
So let me just point out, the one on top is 2019. The one at the bottom is 2015. And I want to say that the one on the one on the bottom said from Michael Wolff, there was reporting that Trump had offered Jeffrey Epstein a spot in his administration in his first term. So that would coincide with exactly what Michael Wolff is saying there, that you have all this dirt, you can use it to extract stuff from him. And so again, there's reporting that Epstein said to his driver that Trump had offered him a spot in his administration. We don't know the specifics. We don't know if it was some ambassadorship or some shit like that, right? But there was some offer, and that would be Trump. The only reason he would do that is because he knows.
And you know why the vote failed? The vote failed. It was, what was it? Wait a minute. Let me read it so the audience knows. Senators were voting on an amendment that would force the government to release all the Epstein files. A yes vote means release. A no vote says don't force the release. What happened in the vote? All Democrats said yes, release the Epstein files. Almost all Republicans voted no. Most Republicans said no, don't release the files. That is why it failed in the Senate. The amendment needed 60 votes, but it only got 49. Jesus, goofy. Come over here telling lies.
This guy knows where all the bodies are buried. This guy knows all my dirty secrets.
Yeah, that's exactly right. All right, let's put the next one up on the screen. So this was a CNBC write-up. One of the things that they revealed here is Trump, again, him saying of Trump,
Christ.
I know how dirty Donald is. But there was another piece in here that, if I can access this, where it says, in a text message chain with an unidentified person in December 2018, that person wrote to Epstein, it will all blow over. They're really just trying to take down Trump and doing whatever they can to do that. Epstein replied, yes, thanks. It's wild because I am the one able to take him down.
Now that's crazy. He's saying I can take him down.
It's like, I'm the one who actually can do it. Yeah.
And again, he wound up dead while Trump was president.
And Bannon, Trump advisor, texting Epstein up until the time he's literally in federal prison, had previously reportedly said that he thought Epstein was the person who could take out Trump more than anyone else.
Bannon, who just made the video, I just played that for you. If he loses, we all go to prison because they're all in on it. They all know Trump is a PDF file. They all know it, including the Republicans who have seen the files. Woo! We knew it. We knew it. We knew it. I knew he was a shitty president. I've been saying that from day one. You're a shitty human being. No, not a shitty president. You're a shitty human being. And Trump is a shitty human being.
This is an interesting one. B10, you can put this up on the screen with regard to Hillary Clinton and Vince Foster. He says Hillary doing naughties with Vince. Long been a lot of theories about Vince Foster's death. So the allegation here that Hillary was in a...
And what year was this one? 20...
Woo! Look at Hillary Clinton is in the files. Oh, shit. Hillary Clinton is in the email. Hillary doing naughty with Vince. Oh, shut up now.
This is 2016.
Okay, so this was when they were running, when she was running. Okay.
Next one up on the screen. This is to do with Peter Thiel. That was fun. See you in 3 weeks.
Okay, so this is Jeffrey Epstein sending an email to Peter Thiel saying that was fun. See you in 3 weeks.
Peter Thiel is the backer and the supposed ex-lover of who is it? JD Vance, or supposed allegedly. Let's make sure we say allegedly. Friend to JD Vance. Let's keep going.
When Peter Thiel was on Joe Rogan's podcast, he told Joe Rogan, "Oh, I only met with Epstein a couple times, and it was for tax advice." Is that what you say after you have?
As you can see, the emails from Jeffrey Epstein to Peter Thiel. Peter Thiel is the billionaire dude that has been funding JD Vance, who has been what is it called? Mentoring JD Vance. Let's say gay Peter Thiel. Allegedly. But I don't know how allegedly it is. I think he may be out of the closet. But JD Vance. This is his mentor. His out of the closet, maybe mentor. I don't know. Allegedly. I haven't really looked into Peter Thiel. This is Peter Thiel. This is Jeffrey Epstein sending an email to Peter Thiel. You see how many of these rich, important people that are in these files? Don't y'all come over here caping for these rich, creepo, pedo folks. You just sit back and listen to the damn evidence. This is the email from Jeffrey Epstein to Peter Thiel, the friend of JD Vance. That was fun. What was fun? His tax advice? He's just been a tax advisor to Jeffrey Epstein? That was fun. See you in 3 weeks. What was fun? I think everything because I'm Goofy P. The Shakes. Shut your ass up. Sit back and listen.
Fun.
A nice tax advice session. That was fun. See you in 3 weeks. By the way, Joe, I hope you feel fucking ashamed of yourself, you bitch. I hope you feel fucking ashamed of yourself. How many billionaire scumbags, fucking billionaire pedophile scumbags are you going to have on your show and give them a hot stone massage?
Hey, y'all. How many people got into your face when Charlie Kirk took a dirt nap and said, "Oh, you're taking Charlie Kirk out of context"? Now we got a goofy, dozy dreamer in the chat talking about there's no context to this email. Shut your goofy ass up. We don't need context. Just like we didn't need context when Charlie Kirk got given a dirt nap. We knew exactly what Charlie Kirk meant when he said the things that he meant. Just like we know exactly what's going on with these rich scumbag pedos. Shut your ass up. Stop caping for them.
I mean, it's sick. It's sick. What are we on, like 7 billionaires? He has Elon Musk on once a month to butter him up. It's a sick joke. The guy cuts pediatric cancer research and Meals on Wheels, and Rogan's got no fucking questions about that. Insane. Have Peter Thiel on. Looks like he just ate fucking blood from a baby in a different room and came in and did the podcast, and you got nothing tough to say to him. Disgusting. Keep going.
All right. Next one about pics of Trump and bikini girls.
Only Dozy Dreamer would be over here talking about me using 3 brain cells. And that's all MAGA can use is the 3 brain cells. they have with all of the MAGA folks. All y'all got 3 brain cells amongst you. Because you're goofy over here trying to cape for rich pedo creepos. Shut your ass up.
Epstein says, would you like photos of Donald and girls in bikinis in my kitchen?
Wow. 2015, that is too.
Yep.
Holy shit.
Yeah, this was again one of those where it was like, I think he may have been emailing with the New York Times reporter here who was trying to like press him like, hey, can you put some stuff out? Next one, B13. So Epstein is writing to the Duke. That would be Prince Andrew.
Dude, I don't know what the fuck y'all keep telling me about the Democrats for. The Democrats 100% wanted the files to be released. Republican, most of those people blocked the release by voting no. Because of the no votes, the amendment failed and the files were not required to be released. Why did you goofies in the chat keep asking me to check the Democrat record? I checked the record. Money in me.
You okay? These stories are complete and utter fantasy. I don't know and have never met Al Gore. Clinton was never on the island.
Whoa.
The telephone book is not mine. It was stolen by my houseman that is currently in prison for doing so. So,
bro,
he's saying all this stuff about Trump, and then he's like, yeah, Clinton, he was never on the island.
That's so crazy because everybody thought, myself included, like, oh, Clinton was actually really close with him. There's pictures and shit. Like, that's so crazy. It almost reminds me of, remember the guy who ended up going to prison for lying about Hunter Biden and Burisma? Trump just pardoned him, by the way.
Carter Page?
I don't remember his name, but there's a guy who Trump pardoned but it turned out like
say E-Man, Evim 4876. You got folks in here trying to cape for the rich pedos. They got plenty of them trying to cape for him. The email, see, I could understand if I got one email and then I'd be like, oh, I don't understand the context of that. But all of these emails, there's 70, 80, 90 emails that support this goofy shit that they were going and doing. Okay? You stop taping it. That's why you goofies need to face it. Not goofies as in everybody, goofies as in MAGAs who keep trying to defend this bullshit.
All the shit he said was false. It was just totally made up. All this like corruption vis-a-vis Hunter Biden. And I felt like an idiot. So I was like,
we ain't talking about Biden. We talking about your pedophile president. Shut your ass up.
I had been spreading that. I thought that was real. And I almost feel similar to this. Like I was convinced Bill Clinton was just as guilty as Donald Trump in his connection with Jeffrey Epstein. And you see that and you're like, Jesus, maybe not. But to be fair, that last thing he says, oh, that wasn't my book. That's not true. That definitely was his book. So it could be lying about all of it. Bill Clinton definitely could be on the line. Because Epstein has a picture of Clinton in his fucking living room. That's Clinton in a dress pointing it at the camera, or I guess whoever's painting, right? So that could be all lies, but you can continue.
All right, next one is the well-regarded in DC Larry Summers, who's apparently, I mean, there are so many Larry Summers emails in here, and they are all uniformly just humiliating. Any case,
Larry Summers is the U.S. Treasury Secretary. He was under who the hell? Who was he under? Shit, I ain't sure. Was he under Trump? Yeah, Trump's. Was he under Trump? I'm not sure.
Writes to Jeffrey Epstein, how is life among the lucrative and louche, which I had to look up. It means like depraved, but in like a charming way, I think is sort of what it means. Anyway, Epstein writes back, anyone stand out, ? When we meet, I will endeavor to mesmerize you with stories of DC. So wild. Oh, what stories of DC? Interesting.
Oh my God.
Interesting. And that, again, that was 2017. So while Trump is in the White House, Epstein has mesmerizing stories of DC, apparently. Another one here, just with regard, this is a little bit inside baseball, but it matters because Alex Acosta is the one who shepherded through that sweetheart deal for Epstein, ends up as Trump's labor secretary. And this is just an indication that Epstein was really keeping track of what was going on with Acosta. He asked, who will represent him at the hearings. And this guy, Roy Black, says he'll be by himself, perhaps the Trump administration aide to assist and accompany him.
And remember, we know that Epstein knew the inner workings of Trump's first administration. Right. Because that's on literal audio tape when he's talking to Michael Wolff and he's saying, this person hates this person pisses off Trump. So how does he know all that? How does he know all that? Because he's embedded, right? And it's because he's intelligence.
Right.
You can keep going.
And then this is the last one I have. This is one Sauger flagged about just all of Epstein's sort of high-flying meetings. This is 2014. He had UN General Assembly meetings with Peter Thiel, Larry Summers, Bill Burns, who was CIA, Gordon Brown, British Prime Minister, Jagland, who was on the Nobel Committee, Mongolian leaders, UAE, Qatari leaders, Leon Black, and more. And then he says correspondences with then Obama's recently departed White House counsel.
So this guy was super connected.
Super
connected.
And this really comes out in the drop site report.
Correct.
Where he's like, I mean, truly in a way that I didn't actually even think was possible.
Yeah, it's more than I thought too.
Influencing world events, like some genuine sort of puppet master, like, you know, hooking up the Israelis with La Cote d'Ivoire and making these deals
Coast,
with,
right?
Yeah, but making these deals with Mongolia and, you know, just really like playing the world like it's his chessboard. And you know, that's what you really see is all the proximity to wealth, money, power, influence. And it comes out in these emails, the way he uses this information that everybody at least thinks that he has on them as potential leverage against them. So, yeah.
So he facilitated a deal to sell Israeli surveillance technology to the Ivory Coast. That's what DropSite reported on.
Mm-hmm.
If he's not working with the Israeli government, then how are you facilitating deals for the Israeli government?
An Israeli spy
is.
stayed at his Upper East Side mansion.
That's the next thing I was going to say.
Weeks and weeks.
For weeks on end. Also, he's very close with Ehud Barak, former Israeli prime minister.
Yeah.
He was caught wearing that, you know, IDF sweatshirt.
Mm-hmm.
He's Israeli intelligence. It really is that simple. Now, I have more. We don't have the emails for this one, but bear with me here because there's still plenty of stuff. First of all, I just want to reiterate, the email was from 2011. This one was from 2011. Quote, I want you to realize that the dog that hasn't barked is Trump. The victim spent hours at my house with him. He has never once been mentioned. Police chief, etc. I'm 75% there. So this is him saying in 2011, Trump spent hours with a victim at my house. Again, it was 2011. So he wasn't running for president. So there's no like, oh, we're going to plot to take him down or tell a lie or anything like that. So Trump at Epstein's house with a victim for hours. I wonder what they were doing. You know, maybe they were sharing gardening tips. Who knows? But he's on video. That's what I take from this. He's on video. He's blackmailed. And if he's blackmailed, it's easy to coerce him, extort him. The Israeli government can get whatever they want from him. And oh, would you look at that? He gave them everything they want. He let them fucking steal the Golan Heights. He moved the embassy to Jerusalem. He's letting them finish the genocide in Gaza.
Our president is bought and sold. Bought and sold by the Israelis. Bought and sold. Because of this, they have him on tape.
He's letting them take over the West Bank.
Sorry, guys.
Like it's all right in front of us. Like it's all very clearly right in front of us. All right, another one. Responding to a 2017 message that Trump was so gross, Jeffrey Epstein said Trump was worse in real life and up close.
Hard to imagine.
Ghislaine Maxwell also, I should point this out, she lied and said Trump never went to Epstein's house when that 2011 email proved Trump went to Epstein's house. And people have been saying this about her for a while, that she's a notorious liar. And of course, she's saying whatever Trump wants to hear to try to get favorable treatment. And like you said, you weren't joking. They literally gave her a puppy. She has a puppy in prison.
Yeah.
She has a puppy. She can use the gym whenever she wants. It's already like a minimum security prison where they fucking do hot yoga and shit like that. But she gets even extra preferential treatment. There was also a meme that Epstein and his brother shared, and it was Trump's face smiling and sort of like with like a shit-eating grin kind of way. And it says, would you trust this man with your daughter? Oh. So Epstein was sharing that with his brother. That says a lot. Here's another email. This one is from 2017. Epstein, quote, I have met some very bad people, none as bad as Trump, not one decent cell in his body.
That tracks.
Now, there's this other email. Now, you interpreted this a little differently. I read over it a bunch of times. To me, I think it's saying what it's saying. But if anything, you could say, arguably, it's a different Trump that they're referring to. Because, again, this was while Trump was in the White House or while it was his first term. But according to one email chain here from late November of 2017, there's an indication that Trump spent his first Thanksgiving after getting elected with Epstein.
It's just hard for me to believe.
I agree with that.
You know, just because I don't know that the president can move without there being some
correct. That's what I thought too.
Record of it.
When you read the correspondence, and remember, they don't think anybody's ever going to read this from the outside. This is just them. It's like a casual back and forth, and somebody says, "Oh, who's there with you?" And he responds, "David Fitzel, Hansen, and Trump." That's what it says. And Is it the infamous island? I don't know. All right, more. Epstein to Michael Wolff in a convo about Trump, quote, I am meticulous about documentation and backup. So remember when Kash Patel and all these fucking liars came out and said, tapes, videos, bro? I don't even know what you're talking about. There's none of that stuff, bro. Here you have Jeffrey Epstein in his own words in 2018 saying, I am meticulous about documentation and backup. That's a direct quote. Epstein wrote to his lawyers, quote, have on one of your cronies to ask to see the mortgage to Mar-a-Lago, cash from Electricians Union. His driver, Matt, was the bag man, later made an executive at the public company, and the $30 million loan from the casino to Donald Trump, backdated. So this is clearly Epstein knew a lot about the inner financial workings of Mar-a-Lago. And, people have pointed out, this sounds like it was some sort of bank fraud, some sort of mortgage fraud that went into Mar-a-Lago. And, you read that over a couple times, and every time you read it, it gets a little weirder and weirder. Like, how the fuck does he know this stuff? And what is he highlighting here? He's highlighting some sort of financial crime that Trump engaged in, which, by the way, is not surprising at all, because if you look at the Letitia James civil case against him in New York, he was found guilty for all insurance fraud, bank fraud, all sorts of stuff like that. All right, more. Larry Summers asked Jeffrey Epstein if Trump uses cocaine. This is one of my favorite emails.
Yeah.
So Larry Summers, that's all the email says. Like, does Trump use cocaine? And Epstein responds by not answering. And he says, can I get a private Harvard tour for a Rothschild? It's just like, bro, the billionaire elite, like, pedophile club is real. Like, it's real. Like, this is it. We're looking at it.
QAnon was directionally correct. They were just wrong to put Trump. I mean, obviously the details were wrong. Trump being the hero was the biggest problem, though.
Correct. Yeah, they were right that there's like a billionaire pedophile cabal.
Yeah.
But they're all Republicans. Well, I guess Larry Summers not, but like it's MAGA. Like, it says all the people who
and
were pretending like they were against it.
Your hero is the most implicated.
He's the main character. He's the fucking main character. Epstein wrote on December 17, 2016 that he was in Palm Beach, quote, with all Trump people. December 17th, 2016. So that's kind of crazy. That's probably Bannon was there. He was close with Bannon. Way closer than anybody realized with Steve Bannon. Sloppy Steve was very close with Jeffrey Epstein. And by the way, he pretends like he's not.
And we know he has hours and hours of footage of
and
interviews.
He never fucking released it. He never released it.
Yeah.
Then, of course, you alluded to this. Bill Clinton, apparently, according to Epstein, wasn't on the island. Not sure if I believe that, but there's that. Epstein said in emails that he had been advising the Russian government on how to deal with Trump, one of several cases in which he wielded his connections to try to influence the course of foreign affairs. And this is a very strange back and forth. These emails are very, very bizarre. They took place in 2018, and they're talking about this guy Churkin, who was, I guess, a Russian ambassador. And he's going back and forth with like how to deal with Trump. And this one to me was particularly interesting because it's like, yes, Epstein worked with the Israeli government. I've always said he's Mossad, but it's also possible he was sort of like a freelance mercenary type intelligence person.
Because that would explain how he became so he came from being a regular school teacher. He got released from his job as a school teacher because he was doing inappropriate things with students. He went from being an English teacher or some kind of teacher to wheeling and dealing amongst all of these rich and famous people, to owning 3 different properties around the country, Miami one included, and an island. This person went from a teacher to doing all of this. So he's on record as being in the pocket of Israelis, including President Trump being in the pocket of the Israelis, because they have tapes on Trump. They have the truth on Trump. So this is wild. This is wild. It's wild. This is nuts. The president is, according to he's a part of the pedophile ring. It's a big ring. You got Peter Thiel, President Trump, Epstein. Who else?
And he was working with whoever would pay him, and the Russian government was also paying him. That's what these emails seem to indicate to me.
Well, I think what it looks like is, I mean, his whole thing was gathering information and gathering relationships, because he also used those relationships to protect himself and to keep the cone of silence. I mean, That was what came out in the bank records that were released in those emails. Was basically like these bankers would look, oh, well, Bill Gates still likes him, so it can't be that bad. And so, yeah, I think he was whoever he found to be convenient he would provide them with information counsel. He would do deals with them. And so between the money and the information, that's how he was able to protect himself for so long.
Here's what Epstein said in 2016 to the billionaire Tom Barrack, who's a close friend of Trump. Quote, "Send photos of you and child. Make me smile." And in March, by the way, Trump nominated this guy to serve as the U.S. ambassador to Turkey. Isn't that insane? Isn't that insane? Again, billionaire pedophile cabal. It's actually real.
That Barrett guy comes up in a bunch of the emails.
That's right. I remember him speaking at one of the RNCs. I don't know if it was 2016 or 2020, but he spoke at one of the RNC events in favor of Trump. So, but Jesus Christ. There's another one, and this one is older, a little older. In 2013, January of 2013, you have Epstein going back and forth with Jean-Luc Brunel. And Jean-Luc Brunel, for those of you who don't know, confirmed pedophile and confirmed human sex trafficker. In fact, you know, he's one of the ones, it was him, and then there's John Casablancas. There's like a bunch of them confirmed pedophiles and also had these, you know, teenage modeling agency. It was just a front for human sex trafficking.
Didn't he also end up dead in prison?
Yes. He also wound up dead in prison. Funny how that works. But in this, I'll read it for you guys, but just understand what you're about to hear here. This is how sex traffickers communicate. Like what you're about to hear. That's what this says. Ready? Save for 2012, but can I start to look for baby clothes? If the wish turns into reality, or would you stick with RL baby around the corner? Forgot that you are planning everything. I will send you a picture of the Burmese girl. Very pretty. She is the star singer in Myanmar. I will bring her to the US. Obama visits Myanmar and Chan Chan comes to America. I think I have something new and fresh news to promote. It sounds like they're speaking in code.
Oh,
right?
Absolutely.
And then, by the way, Murtaza Hussein, same thing. Shows these emails that looks like they're speaking in code. And this is relative to the Israeli military intelligence officer who lived at Jeffrey Epstein's home in Manhattan. He has some...
You all make sure you're hitting the like button and the subscribe button and the share button. We do this content every day. We listen to bombshells in the news, and then we go over the bombshells in the news. Apparently, all of this was released yesterday. I'm down with the flu, so therefore I'm not keeping up with all the news. Some of it I am. But today we're going over the emails of Epstein and his cohorts, his $1 million, billion cohorts. A lot of the names are familiar. Casablanca, y'all remember Casablanca modeling agency? They're talking about that guy.
Back and forth between Ehud Barak and one of them, and it sounds like they're speaking in code there as well, which would make sense. Again, that's intelligence. So human sex trafficking, intelligence, like literally all tied together. This stuff is so crazy. And then Trump was asked about this when I think they did like the signing ceremony for the bill to reopen the government. He was asked about this. Nothing. You know, usually he's there to fucking spin a story and he'll fucking fight. Nothing. And that goes to show you, like you said, they were literally in the situation room. They called an emergency meeting.
Yeah.
Like they know. And then, you know, you look out there and you see, you got Nick Fuentes out there being like, MAGA's dead now. MAGA's dead. I see a whole bunch of them coping and seething on the timeline. Very few were even bothering to try to put up a whimper of a fight.
Think about like Libs of TikTok, who was there with her binder and acted like she was some, you know.
Very quiet now all of a sudden.
Yeah,
Weird.
Suddenly.
Weird. We got 20,000 Epstein emails and you got nothing to say about it. Funny how that works. Because your guy is fucking implicated.
Is all over these things.
Totally.
All over them.
And one more tweet for you. I want to read this from Dino Badala because this one landed with me. One of the biggest takeaways from the Epstein file released today was that Jeffrey Epstein in 2018 and early 2019 was telling people that he had dirt on Trump, which could destroy Trump. That's a fact. We know that. That is very likely why the Trump DOJ charged Jeffrey Epstein in July 2019, and then he died.
The end.
So I don't know about you, but I'm more convinced than ever as to what went down here.
Me too.
You know, it is like pound the gavel. It is again.
Well,
and
think about too. Oh, the cameras happen to be out, and then Pam Bondi comes in. She says, "Oh, I have the Epstein files on my desk. We're gonna, I'm going through them. We're gonna release them." And then what is it, like a month and a half later? She's like, "Oh, nothing to see here. Case closed." And he definitely did kill himself. And here's some video, which by the way ends up being doctored.
Yep.
To prove it.
Yep. So yet again, and we'll end on this note, but the most hardcore resistance liberal Trump derangement syndrome person you ever met in fucking 2017, 2018, they were fucking right.
To be honest with you, though, they weren't really focused on this one.
You think so?
No, they were all Russiagate at that time. It was really the left that, to the extent that there was focus from the left that on Epstein, it was coming from lefties, not so much the libs. The libs are all about it now, But let's give our own camp some credit here, because they were, there were a lot of it was right wing coded because it was all about Clinton. And so a lot of the Epstein interest was like right wing coded. And so they stayed away from it until relatively recently.
Yeah, I guess other than like I had quite a bit of interest in this, but I just feel like I didn't see many other lefties.
I mean, I was covering it.
Yeah,
you saw me covering it for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. And obviously I didn't give a shit if
Mm. All right. Hold on. That's not what I want to see. Oh shit. We're gonna talk to Nick later. Nick later. Hold on. Here we go. Let's listen to Vosh.
Do you think that Megyn Kelly was being a professional child when she made this argument to defend Donald Trump?
As for Epstein, I've said this before, but just as a reminder, I do know somebody very, very close to this case who is in a position to know virtually everything. Not everything, but virtually everything. And this person has told me from the start, years and years ago, that Jeffrey Epstein, in this person's view, was not a pedophile. This is this person's view, who was there for a lot of this, but that he was into the barely legal type. Like he liked 15-year-old girls.
Barely legal, like 15,
And I realize this is disgusting. I'm definitely not trying to make an excuse for this. I'm just giving you facts.
I'm not making an excuse. He just liked barely legal girls, 15.
That he wasn't into like 8-year-olds, but he liked the very young teen types that could pass for even younger than they were, but would look legal to a passerby.
15-year-old girls. This is, that chart that said diversity of opinion is actually much greater on the right than it is on the left. This is the conversations they're having that we're missing out on, Maybe people would take the left more seriously politically and ideologically if we were willing to get into the trenches with these kinds of like free speech, free-for-alls,
And that is what I believed, and that was what I reliably was told for many years. And it wasn't until we heard from Pam Bondi that they had tens of thousands of videos of alleged, forgive me, they used to call it kiddie porn. Now they call it child sexual abuse material.
Why would you say that? Sorry, in my industry, we used to call it this. It was before woke. We all got, I didn't even want to say it.
On his computer, that for the first time, I thought, oh, no, he was an actual pedophile. I mean, only a pedophile gets off on young children abuse videos. She's never clarified it. I don't know whether.
As opposed to, the barely legal girls, 15.
It's true. I have to be honest. I don't really trust Pam Bondi's word on the Epstein matters anymore. Yeah, so I don't know what's true about him, but we have yet to see anybody come forward and say, I was I was under 10. I was under.
You see the coping that is going on. You see the excuses by this idiot, Megyn Kelly, about pedophiles. We know that he was in the files. All of you guys know that he was in the files. And they're trying to say, oh, it's 8. There's a difference between 15 and 8. Oh, there's a big difference between 15 and 8.
14 when I first came within his purview.
No, they were all just, barely legal.
It's you can say that's a distinction without a difference.
No, it's not.
I think there is a.
We've touched on a very serious topic today. You're right. People are simplifying this. Are you familiar with the term ephebophilia?
Difference. Yeah. There's a difference between a 15-year-old and a 5-year-old. It's just.
Now, I'm not defending him. However, I'm really insistent on this point because it implicates our president.
Goofy ass Megyn Kelly.
Because so far, nobody has files of Donald Trump with a 5-year-old. As long as he's not caught with a 5-year-old.
As long as they ain't 5 years old. But there's a difference. There's a difference.
need the GOP to make this their official line. That's true. Do you think we could get like Carolyn Levitt to play this during a press briefing? So she said she was 15, getting really confused and flustered as you're trying to explain to the fleet of FBI agents who have just landed on Little St. James. Jesus Christ. Holy moly, this is the bad place. She's on TV. She's literally one of the like premier conservative broadcasters. Yeah. It's Megyn Kelly. She's a celebrity. She's huge. I don't know, man. Conversations like this. Young people don't remember when Megyn was on Fox News. Wasn't she literally abused herself? Am I thinking of a different Fox News host? Yes? Okay, yeah. Okay. I mean, not that it ever matters, but trans people are groomers. Trans people better thank their lucky stars that the
Nobody said anything about Virginia Giffrey. Nobody said anything about Virginia, did they, Tom? Nobody mentioned Virginia at all. So why are you mentioning Virginia?
political actors most committed to framing them as groomers are all pedophiles, you know? It definitely frees them up a little bit rhetorically. Roger Ailes, yeah. Okay, I remember now. Yeah. Literally all projection. Yeah, I think to a large extent.
She's not in all of the emails, Tom. It doesn't even matter whether she's in the emails. These emails are between the men who were grooming the women. Most of these emails are between the men who were grooming the women. Has nothing to do with Virginia. She just happens to be one that was in the files.
And I really do think a lot of conservatives don't understand why you would ever want to like bond with, and by bond I mean any like a teacher to a student or whatever, unless it was sexual. You know, yeah, every accusation is a confession. They don't comprehend it. It's all just like barely disguised power dynamics to them. I can't believe she said this. Genuinely. This conversation reminded me of this this clip. Oh my God, I had a flashback as soon as I saw this shit, dude. The response video. Yeah, where she traced Danganronpa sprites to draw her
No, stop.
you know, it's really difficult to say, for example, destroy American democracy if you're not offering people a convincing alternative. Remember that Hitler had to offer people a convincing alternative. A lot of effort was expended on his part and the part of the Nazi party to try to convince Germans that what he was offering was better than the...
Sure, Pandora's. We're deranged. We're in an alternate universe, and all of these emails are just derangement syndrome. You're just wild. You're the one that's in the derangement syndrome, but it's like zombie land.
He ran on in 2024. But the Epstein files, the Epstein case are especially dreadful for him. What are we talking about here? Well, let's take a look at Trump's approval rating on the issue. Look, they're all in red. They're all in the negative territory. But on immigration, you know, he's 5 points underwater. Foreign policy, 8 points. Trade and tariffs, he's 17 points. The economy, 18 points. But look at the Epstein case. He is 39 points below water on the Epstein case. His net approval is 39 points in the negative. My goodness.
He actually has significant negative approval with Republicans on the Epstein case. Nobody likes it.
It's gracious. What Donald Trump has been selling on the Epstein files, the Epstein case, the American people, simply put, have not been buying at all, Sarah.
And keep in mind, this polling data would have been taken from before the most recent drop. There's no way they would have accurate polling data from right now, you know? Like, it's only going to go down from here.
Seidner.
All right. So is there any sign that things have gotten better since there have been some things that have been released?
Yeah, okay.
Although released by Democrats.
There have been some things that have been released. Donald Trump has been trying to make some sort of case saying that, you know, the folks don't necessarily care about it. But take a look here. Approve of the Trump admin on the Epstein case in early July, right, when you had those DOJ droppings, right? It was 17%. Look at where we were by late September, the latest poll I can find it. 20%. You know, we often talk about Donald Trump having this floor, right, of at about 40%. On this particular issue, he is less than half the level of the supposed floor. There's just nobody. There is just nobody in the electorate who is buying this. They do not like the way that the Trump administration has been handling this case one iota.
You have to let this be a lesson too, especially for Democrats, on the nature of how politics works these days. People want main characters, people want energy, people want hype, people want aura, people want momentum. It doesn't matter what the actual political outcomes are for a person like Trump. You could damage the country as much as you want. His base will not care. They'll bear any amount of suffering or indignity if they feel like they're winning. People vote on their feelings, The problem is that on this particular issue, on the Epstein case, there's no way to take Trump's position and come across like the main character who's aura farming, there's nothing epic and hype about being a pedophile trying to cover yourself up. There's no way you can't even vice signal about it, because in this case, on every other issue, they'll vice signal, right? Kristi Noem will go out there and talk about how we're getting rid of 20 billion illegals or whatever. You can vice signal on a bunch of issues. Vice signaling on this one would be Donald Trump going up to the stage and saying, yeah, he likes touching little girls. And that's not, it would be an interesting play to follow through on that one. But he can't do it. He can't do it. So okay, but guys, you understand I'm not joking, right? That would be the equivalent, He vice signals on the economy. He vice signals on immigration. He vice signals on racism, on sexism. Every time an issue comes up, right? That's the bit from the administration. Yeah, you think we're bad, we're going to be twice as bad. You can't do it here. You can't do it here. So they've lost out on their one tool for like reframing, recontextualization. Oh, you thought a bad thing was bad? Actually, a bad thing is good because it's based. Can't do that here.
Republicans have generally said they like what Donald Trump is doing, generally speaking. How do they feel about the Epstein case?
Okay, so you see, approve of Trump on the Epstein case. This is overall, right? And you see 17%, you say 20%. That is way below the 40% floor that Donald Trump supposedly has. How does that possibly happen? It's because of Republicans, because look at this number. Okay, Republicans who approve of Trump's job as president, 87%. That is basically in line with the long-term average, 85, 90, 95%. But look at the Trump admin's job on the Epstein case. Just 45% of Republicans, less than half of Republicans are even buying what the administration is telling.
And again, this is before.
Except some of the goofies in the chat. Except some of the goofies in the chat who keep saying, we don't care about those files. We don't care whether our president is a pedo. We don't care. Don't focus on the Democrats. Focus on your pedophile president. Don't focus on the Democrats. Focus on your pedophile president. Focus on your pedophile president. Because that's what they're doing to cope. Oh, Bill Clinton was on the island. Yeah, but Bill Clinton ain't the president. Bill Clinton ain't the president who been trying to cover up the files. Focus on your pedophile president. Keep rest of people out your mouth. Focus on your pedophile president.
Before the most recent email dropped, 20,000 emails plus the Epstein files release, so on and so forth.
Look, we're not necessarily sure whether or not this case has moved the ball on Trump's overall approval rating yet, but I can tell you that the more...
Wasn't this also incredibly obvious before all this? No, I'm sorry. It should have been, but no. A lot of people are just in a media bubble. They never see any of this, Also, people are willing to give a lot of credit, be very charitable to candidates that they like. If you're a dedicated diehard Fox News viewer, the only time you're hearing about the Epstein stuff is in the context of it being a hoax made up by blowhard Democrats. You're just not getting the opportunity to engage with this information at face value. But now it's being engaged with a lot more openly, a lot more aggressively. People are coming around to it. Has it been obvious this whole time? Yes. Will I ever forgive people who took this long to realize? No, you could have Googled it. But people are stupid, and we have to work with that.
Yes, people are stupid, like people in the chat trying to bring up Biden, trying to bring up Clinton. Nope. Focus on your pedophile president. Shut your ass up about anybody else. Don't matter whether they had to file 4 years ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago. Focus on what's in the damn files. The fact that your president is a pedophile. Focus on that. Yes. You voted for that mess. You voted for this president. You voted for a person that touches girls. Young girls. Make it make sense in your MAGA mind.
this case is in the news, the worse it is for Donald Trump because
Bosch, you're forgetting a majority of MAGA are racist pedos who don't give a shit about this, unfortunately. See, this is what I would call
racist pedo. Ooh, whoa, whoa, what you say?
Sort of like stupidity by cynicism. You know, you're
stupidity by cynicism. Woo! Stupidity by cynicism. That's what he calls the MAGA retards.
Desperate to get ahead of me on a cynical talking point, and in so doing, you have like erased nuance. You know, are a lot of people in the right racist pedophiles? Of course, but it doesn't change anything that I've said, and I've forgotten nothing. Don't condescend. No, a majority of Republicans are not like actual pedophiles. That would be ridiculous. And if that was the case, this country would have been over a long time ago. That's not. People are susceptible to a lot of social influences, and what people are and what people are willing to admit they are two very different things. But at the very least, within their heart of hearts, okay, to a lot of Republicans, pedophilia is something they still consider to be bad.
simply put, it is his worst issue by far.
We could be seeing a vote on this next week. This case is not going away anytime soon.
Hell no, it ain't going away. What we got, he needs to be impeached. That's the minimum of what's going on. He needs to be impeached. But you got the Republicans blocking it. You got the Republicans blocking it. Like today, they're blocking it. But we know what the truth is. We know he likes to touch young girls. We know he needs to be impeached. And you still got the maggots. Zombies, I call them. Not MAGAs. Zombies. Caping for a pedophile. Wow. I hate pedophiles, Pat Yeager. Do you hate pedophiles? Do you hate Pat Yeager? Do you hate pedophiles? Or are you on here caping for a pedophile? Pat Yeager is caping for the pedophile. Caping for the pedophile.
It is not going away anytime soon, and that is bad news politically for Donald John Trump.
All right.
Donald John Trump. I want to know how long the Dems and the committee had access to these emails, why they released now instead of 3 weeks ago. Because the House wasn't in session. They didn't have the ability to release this information.
Un clan de pedófilos quiere acabar la democracia en Colombia. Duro, sí, pero ahí está la realidad. Y para que no salga la lista, entonces nos envían acorazados a matar pescadores de esta ciudad.
Like what? There is. There's really no reason to talk to the administration about anything other than Epstein at this point. You know, elephant in the room says address me. There's nothing like what they're not interested in nor capable of governing. They don't believe in anything and they don't care about implementing anything. And there's no real like they don't. There's nothing else that you can really ask them. What else do they care about? Just you get to ask all of them about Epstein all the time until Trump inevitably crashes out and admits he did it. You know. I've said this before, but I do really think it chuffs at Trump by quite a bit that he can't vice signal on this, you know? Like, if Trump was with his freak, you know, New York billionaire real estate buddies or, you know, with his buddies at Mar-a-Lago or whatever, of course he'll brag about kids. Why wouldn't he? They're all awful, awful people. Why wouldn't they do that, you know? And it probably bothers Trump a lot that he can't own up to it, you know, here. Like, he's been so awful about everything else sex-related, right? Grab him by the pussy, locker room talk. Jean Carroll, you know, keeps trying to, like, essentially, like, undo the legal result of his sexual assault case with Miss Carroll. There's no... his daughter, there's a million times in his life he's been able to blow this off, and this time he can't because it's just too bad, you know? It probably frustrates him that he has to, like, hide in shame over something that a lot of his contemporaries did along with him, you know, because you know he wants to throw his arms up in the air and go, well, what the everyone was doing it, but that wouldn't be a very convincing answer. I wonder how many people in his close circle are advising him on this. Like, it wouldn't surprise me if Donald Trump has some people around him who are like, sir, you can't talk about it, and he's like, it wasn't that bad, they'll understand, and then they're like, no, you really, like, genuinely, you have to shut the up about this. He had an emergency meeting with his AG. Yeah, but Pam Bondi is a tepid bowl of soup. You know, Pam Bondi is a massive pussy and incompetent. She can't be his confidant. He must have some confident people. Who's the woman who was the chief of staff? She's a competent lady, very evil, very stern, like Thatcherite type. What's her name? Susie Wiles. Thank you. If I wonder if she might be one of those people. She seems like she'd be the type. You know, she's so good no one notices her. Yeah, that's what makes her dangerous. One of the few competent.
I said, hey, she's the chief of staff. That's what makes her dangerous. That's who Trump is probably talking to. Yeah.
People in the administration. Crazy, I had to Google her. I thought Miller was chief of staff. Well, he's deputy chief of staff, but I think she was chief of staff for the previous administration, or Miller has been competent. Yeah, but Miller's not the kind of guy who would be a confidant to Trump. Not that they don't have that relationship. They don't have that relationship. I don't think Trump's going to going to resign. I don't think it's insane, though, to draw attention to the fact that J.D. Vance has been weirdly quiet lately. If there's evidence 100% proving it, what happens? Nothing. This is all about PR. It's all a PR game, okay? It's all a PR game. But trust me, that matters.
PR matters. Yes, it does. And everybody that knows Trump is going to try to play this shit off. Now, I got one last thing for you guys. One last thing for you until I take a break. Listen to why the Republicans won't go home. This is why they don't want to go home and talk to their constituents. This is why right here.
The videos, and we've covered them on the show as they've come out, but there's been a whole bunch of town halls in Trump's second term, and it was Mike Johnson who told
they crashing out Kenneth Cadwell. They crashing out hard. All the MAGA zombies are crashing out hard. They know it's the truth. They're crashing out hard. Okay, so this is Republicans trying to go home and float the big beautiful bill, and them crashing out, and Trump crashing out on the farmers. The farmers are snapping. Let's look.
Old Republicans, yeah, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't go in front of rooms with the American people there, because they will absolutely rip you a new asshole. And he's right. And so, but he's trying to hide from accountability. That's what he's doing, and that's why he's telling them don't go in front of people, right? So anyway, we just had a new town hall that happened. A Representative Marionette Miller Meeks, Triple M, as I like to call her, she got booed when she was asked a question about tariffs and how it's affecting Iowa farmers. They are getting squeezed to no end, bro. They are getting cooked. And they are no longer accepting any bullshit dodges. They know it's the fault of the tariffs. And she's going to turn into Neo from the Matrix.
Everybody knows it's the fault of the tariffs, except goofies that keep defending this president, because this president has the IQ of a crayon. Let's go.
To try to avoid placing the blame where it belongs at Trump's feet. Watch this.
A lot of them are the same, so I'm just trying to get through as many topics as we can today. Good job. Kevin from Davenport is talking about the tariffs, and he says it's killing us on the farm. The price of soy.
And you're ill, Pat Yeager. You're ill. You all hit the like button and subscribe button. We have this content every day. I'll be back at 10 o'clock. After this session, we have to take a break. But please, let's listen to the farmers go the hell off on their Republicans.
Soybeans is below production costs, and corn too. Why are we supporting Argentina?
Listen.
It says it's killing us on the farm. The price of soybeans is below production costs, and corn too. Why are we supporting Argentina? First and foremost, farmers are suffering from high.
Listen to her explanation, y'all. Listen to what she said. Listen to how she lies to the American people. Listen to how the Republicans lie to the American people. Listen to the question again.
In Argentina.
Listen to her. She said, you guys are supporting Argentina by giving Argentina that $40 billion. So this is the senator's explanation.
First and foremost, farmers are suffering from high input costs, which occurred when we had record high inflation under the Biden administration.
Bro, come on. Come on. She doesn't even believe that. By the way, I just saw the inflation numbers right before I came on air. It's through the roof. And Trump owns this inflation. I mean, coffee is up massively. Beef is up. Have you guys seen the price of beef in the store right now? It is sky high. A lot of things are up anywhere from 5% to 10%.
Yeah.
So to blame Biden at this late date for the inflation that's happening now, that's insane. It's obviously a direct result of the tariffs. And the audience, the super conservative
audience knows that it's because of the tariffs. Knows it. Everybody knows it. Only a goofy that's been under a rock doesn't know it. Where's the beef?
This is the heart of red America. The super conservative audience is not buying it at all.
First and foremost, farmers are suffering from high input costs, which occurred when we had record high inflation under the Biden administration. CPI went up to 9%. The farm economy has, I speak with farmers very routinely.
Oh, they hate her. Oh, they hate her. They hate her. Girl, you're in danger. The more you lie, the more you're in danger.
I meet them on their farm, and farmers have told me about the egregious trade practices. They talked about the high input costs. In 2023, farmers were telling me that they were stressed that high input costs were a problem, whether it's fertilizer, whether it's pesticide, fungicide, seed, and especially when we have precision ag and trying to limit the amount of those things, they were functioning under high input costs. So we know that the farm economy has been stressed. It's why we work very hard with the incoming administration to increase the RVOs so that
she memorized this whole speech, and she had to find a way to say anything and everything except Donald Trump's tariffs are ruining your lives. You have a whole bunch of farmers are going bankrupt now, and she has to try to be politically correct to protect the feelings of the madman who's running the country.
More markets for grain products and grain commodities. Not only working the RVO increase this year under Lee Zeldin has been over 2 decades since there has been any increase in the RVO. It is why we also work very hard on.
I think that guy screamed, "It's the tariffs." Did he say that? I think he said that.
Over 2 decades since there has been any increase in the RVO. It's why
we need relief from the tariffs, is what he said.
It is why we also work very hard on trade agreements, which are continuing ongoing, both within our state and as well as the federal government, which we have not seen in the past 4 years. It is also why we're working at what we can do with biofuels and have better trade practices with the Chinese Communist Party. So I cannot answer a question.
Bro, Blue Iowa is happening. Blue Iowa is happening. Blue Iowa is happening. Blue Iowa is on the way. It's on the fucking way, bro. It's on the fucking way.
I'm gonna look at it. Don't be just another brick in the wall. I'm gonna look at it tonight before 10 o'clock.
Way. You hear this? You hear this, audience? They are not buying it.
I cannot answer a question.
The point is, it's not a matter of her. It's not a matter of just the tariffs being the problem. It's everything that's the problem. Nobody's saying the tariffs is the only problem. It's a whole bunch of other things that are the problem too. High tariffs on the Brazilian beef, that's a part of it. There's a lot of things that are a part of it, but ain't nobody buying what they're trying to sell. That's why it was a blue wave on Tuesday. Nobody is trying to buy what this administration is trying to sell.
Question if you're screaming.
Do not try to pull the stern teacher routine. Grandma sell out. We don't need to fucking hear it. Oh, how dare you being uncivil. You know what's fucking uncivil? Putting all these farmers out of business for your shitty fucking policies that aren't working. That's uncivil. Ruining lives for your shitty fucking policies. That's uncivil. Not raising your voice a little bit at a fucking meeting where the whole point is to hear from the people.
So thank you for reminding me about Argentina. There was a loan guarantee given to Argentina. They were not getting money. They were not bailed out.
Oh my, are you kidding me? How do these people sleep at night? And I mean that. I don't know how any Republican politician in the country sleeps at night. They shouldn't. They should never get a fucking wink of rest. Anytime they actually fall asleep, it should be the worst nightmares anybody's ever seen ever. I mean, this is like, what the fuck?
So China then purchased soybean from Argentina.
Wait, what'd that person say?
They were not getting money. They were not bailed out. So China then purchased soybean from Argentina. And as we know, that the recent trade negotiation with China was that China was going to also purchase soybeans from the United States.
She knows she fucked up. She's nervous as hell. She's desperate to try to, like, you know, bullshit in front of everybody's face. It's not working. Soybeans are the best example of how stupid this regime is. I mean, it is insane what happened. We had a whole bunch of farmers in this country had soybeans contracts with China. Trump decided to wage a trade war on all of our allies and, of course, China as well. So China goes, okay, we're canceling all of our soybean contracts with you. Which, by the way, like, I don't even think he thought that would happen. I don't think he's not. You know how they say, oh, they're playing chess, we're playing checkers? We're not even playing checkers. We're rolling our feces up into little balls of poop and playing with it. That's what Trump is doing. He's not even playing checkers. I would love it if he just played checkers. He's not even close to that. So they cut off all the contracts with our soybean farmers. Where do they go to get soybean contracts? Argentina. Argentina or Brazil. I think it was Argentina. Or maybe both. But anyway, so they go there, and then Malay goes to Trump and goes, oh, our economy's fucked. Let me get 20 billion is what they started with. And Trump said, sure, I love that. Then he said, okay, let me get 40 billion. Okay, that's fine too. So you got double fucked in this country. So you lost your contracts because of Trump. So you're going to go out of business. Then also, he's going to steal your tax money and give that to Argentina, who just ended up getting your contract. You got double robbed. It's somehow worse than anybody even thought was possible. Like, worst case scenario, you'd think, oh, you know, you just lost your contract. No, you lost your contract, and then you also had to pay the people who just stole the contract from you. Well, what? Bro, it is criminal what they're doing. I've told you a million times, but I say it because it's true. I don't know if Trump is a Manchurian candidate trying to destroy this country, but he may as well be. Because if it's just extreme incompetence leading him to make these decisions, the end result is the same. It's like he's a Manchurian candidate trying to destroy the country. All right, now let me play this little clip for you. This was on 60 Minutes talking to the farmers.
Nearly 80% of voters in what are called farming-dependent counties voted for President Trump in the last election.
I feel like a lot of American farmers, cattle people, it's a lot of people probably feel let down currently. Now, maybe there's a method to the madness. You know, that's still to be seen.
Many are now taking their frustrations directly to Republican lawmakers at town halls across the country.
I'm about ready to lose my farm. I am pissed, and I'm pissed at you.
Now, by the way, let me ask you, what happens when all these farmers go under? What happens? And this is where it gets a little conspiratorial, and this is where it gets absolutely gross, okay? Trump is best friends with all of the billionaires in the country, right? There is a billionaire robber baron cabal that Trump is part of. J.D. Vance is literally a creation of that cabal. He's a Peter Thiel creation. What do you think is going to happen when those farms go under? Who's going to buy up those farms? Who's going to buy that land? It's the billionaires. So is this all on purpose? That's a serious question. Is this on purpose? You put the farmers out of business. You steal their land, you buy their land from them, and then it's yours. They want all of us to be their slaves, their peasant slaves. And what better way to do that than to manufacture a Great Depression and then have the top 0.01% buy up everything? And everybody is under the thumb of the billionaire robber baron cabal. It's one of the only ways you can explain what's happening outside of Trump being a Manchurian candidate or Trump being the single most incompetent person in human history. That, like, it's the only other way you can explain it. That it is nefarious, it is conspiratorial, and it's being done on purpose so that they can effectively steal this farmland from all these people and have it for themselves. And then when the economy eventually bounces back, they're there to reap the rewards and make all the profit. You know, we already have income and wealth inequality that's worse than at any time. It's worse than at any time in human history, actually. It's as bad as it's ever been, ever. It's worse than the Gilded Age. And so They're looking to stretch that out even more. As we've talked about, you have the bottom 80% of the country only has 7% of the wealth. They're looking to make that worse. The bottom 50% only has 2.6% of the wealth. They're looking to make that worse. They want it all. They want it all, and they want you to have nothing. And we're getting awfully close to the... Remember the thing they used to accuse? Oh, the liberals want you to own nothing. What was it? I forget the exact saying. It was like, you'll own nothing and be happy. I think that's what it was. And that's what they're doing. This is what Trump's whole like, oh, how about a 50-year mortgage? What? Are you kidding me? You want people to be in debt slavery forever? You want them to be Wall Street's bitch forever? You want a $500,000 house and have you end up paying $1.2 million in interest alone? And the answer is yes. The answer is yes. So what they're doing is evil, and it's very clear. And now finally the farmers are waking up. I mean, I want to say to them, like, what did you learn? What did you learn? It's not like these people weren't warned by myself and many others that, hey, for all her flaws, Kamala's way better. Things aren't going to, she's not going to cut pediatric cancer research and Meals on Wheels and murder random fishermen, right? Like, and here we are. Here we are. Unfortunately, many of them voted the wrong way. And now they fucked around. They found out. They're learning the hard way. And this billionaire robber baron cabal looks like they're laying out their plan. And it's all going exactly how they want it. Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like.
This is wild. It's wild. It's wild. I get it. Beef prices and all of that, we just had a perfect storm. It was just a perfect storm, right? Less cattle, higher cost to raise them. Demand for beef was high. Demand wasn't dropping. We all love to eat beef and steak and X, Y, and Z. And they couldn't deal with the tariffs. That is what threw farmers and shit down the rabbit hole. Okay? That's what threw them down the rabbit hole. So now this is where we at. This is where we at. We getting screwed. And we knew it was going to happen. That's why we told y'all not to vote for Donald Trump. Kamala might have been milkworm. She might have been milquetoast. She might have been goofy. She might not have been able to talk. She might not have been able to do anything. But did you ever imagine that we would be here in the middle of a farmer drought, in the middle of a president withholding food stamps from the poorest people in the country, in the middle of 50% tariffs on countries that ain't never did jack shit to us, at war in Venezuela, bombing Iran for Israel, and our president being in the files as a pedophile? Where the hell did we ever think that we would be here? You all hit the like and the subscribe and the share. This concludes our earlier show. I will be back at 10 o'clock to talk about the hemp. H-E-L, the hemp. I forgot. Shit, I can't say that. Anyway, we're getting destroyed by that too. Hit the like, share, and subscribe. This is HQ, and I'll be back. I appreciate all of y'all for coming to the earlier show. I appreciate all of y'all. Please show up at 10 o'clock. Please show up at 10 o'clock. I would love it. Love it. I appreciate all of you guys. I appreciate all of you guys. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Yes, I do.